Faith Church, hope you're well. It's Friday, February the 18th, and today's reading from John 14, one of the most densely profound, grace-filled teachings in the New Testament. You know, John's gospel, all the gospels, but this part of John's gospel is so packed. It almost seems like a chapter is too much for one day. But I really hope you will take some time today, if you haven't already, to spend some time in these words here. Jesus says one of the most famous verses that have we all know by heart. He at one point he's talking about leaving and going away. Of course, he's speaking about the cross and resurrection, and then going to heaven and saying the Spirit. His disciples don't understand what he's talking about, nor would we. We do in hindsight, but they didn't understand. And so Philip is asking, show us the way, we want to go with you. And Jesus says these words: I am the way, I'm the truth, I'm the life. Nobody comes to the Father except through me. It's unfortunate these words have often been used kind of like a hammer in a club by people who want to tell others that they are out and that we are in. There is, of course, some exclusivity to them. Jesus is pretty clear that there is no other way to the Father, to God, but through Him. But to see these as exclusive words, I think, approaches it from the wrong angle. There is, to my knowledge, no other prophet, teacher, religious leader who ever made such a claim. Lots of people have said, I will show you the way. I know the way to God, but to say I am the way is to declare divinity yourself. This is one of the, all through the Gospels, this is one of the most clear assertions by Jesus that he himself is God. He says, I'm the way to God because I am God. Come to me and you come to God. Ties in a little bit to what we talked about last week. Jesus came and said, I didn't come to abolish, I came to fulfill the law, to embody the law, to embody that in you. It's such a high declaration of his divinity. It is through Christ. As we come to Christ, we come to God. As we come to Christ, we come to salvation. We come to the fullness of life. I've heard over the years people on the other end of things want to suggest it's how wrong, how offensive it is that anyone would claim that there's just one way to God. There's many ways to God. And I think to make that kind of statement, you either have to do so out of incredible arrogance or out of incredible ignorance, one of the two. Because we had no way to God because of our sin and brokenness, because of our rebellion. We are cut off from God from our sin. And God has every right to keep it that way. And yet at incredible sacrifice to himself, the suffering and death of his son Christ, God himself, he has made a way of grace, by the way, not just a way of earning, but a way of grace for all to come to him, and for us as human beings to stand and say, you should make more ways. It's either, again, incredibly arrogant or ignorant. As I said to some others this morning, that once we understand what God has done for us through Christ, we ought to spend our knees, eternity on our knees, giving praise and thanks to God that he has made a way for us, and not just for us, but for all people. We have such good news to share that anybody who would come to trust in Christ will come to know God and the life that God has for them. So looking forward to being with you Sunday. We're going to begin to unpack the teaching from last Sunday about Jesus saying, I came to not just to abolish, but to fulfill the law, to not just reinterpret it, but to satisfy it. And he goes into then several examples of what that looks like. The first one has to do with murder and anger. And this may be a text that you have brushed over in the past because murder isn't a problem for you. But don't be so quick to dismiss it. He's speaking to all of us here, and the teaching is intensely practical. Really looking forward to being with you on Sunday morning. Do whatever you can to arrange to be with us, you and your family, and invite others to be with us as well. Wherever you are today, may you know the grace and peace of Christ, the love of God as your Father, and the fellowship of His Spirit. Peace.